And I think this is why I feel better about this blowout. I'm going to say this. I want you to react to this take first.
Okay.
I feel better about the Milwaukee Bucks after this game. I feel the best about the Bucks after this game. I feel like they're more dominant, more ready to win a title this postseason than I ever have after any Bucks regular season game. Like, the Warriors win last year was great. That was not a healthy Warriors team. They've beaten the Raptors a lot last season. Most of those games, I think they blew them out like once, but this was not like the Bucks shoot unseasonably well from three outside of Pat Connaughton, who is just an angel. But this was, the Bucks went in there and said, we're just going to demolish this team. And that's what they did. They shut down Kawhi Leonard and Paul George. They shut them down. They were quiet. Kawhi goes 5 for 14 from the field. Plays 30 minutes. Kawhi and Paul George both play more minutes than Giannis or Chris Middleton did. So anyone who says, in the analysis of this game going forward, that the Clippers, it was whatever, they didn't try, the Bucks just wanted it more. The Clippers wanted it more. The Clippers played their stars more than the Bucks did. These are guys who both have injury concerns, both typically get their loads managed, don't play all that much. They played a lot in this game. The Clippers shortened their rotation to 6 for a good amount of the game. They just didn't have it. So Kawhi in 30 minutes, 17 points, 5 for 14 shooting. Paul George, 31 minutes, 5 for 12 shooting, 13 points from Paul George. He scored his jersey number there. And I just think the way that the Bucks, they didn't run away with this game offensively. They went out and said, you know what, we're going to make it so you just can't score. And that's what they did. And they kept up an intensity we have not seen throughout the entire game until garbage time, which started with 8 minutes left in the fourth quarter, by the way. That
probably should have started earlier.
It probably should have, but PG and Kawhi wanted to stick in there.
Yeah.
That, for me, is why it was the most impressive. I can't recall a time the Bucks have and it's kind of that Warriors game, but again, I know the Warriors were missing some significant pieces in that
also,
game.
the Warriors were, struggling to care at that point.
Yeah, for sure. This was a game where a newly assembled juggernaut that a whole lot of people, I'm pretty sure myself included, were picked to probably beat the Bucks in the finals, came in here and wanted the win, and the Bucks just said, no, you can't have it, and just dominated them. And I don't recall seeing a Bucks regular season game with this kind of energy and this kind of resounding statement of which team is better. And I think it's fair to say this is as much of a statement game, a signature win, as you can hope for in early December.
No, this is the most ideal outcome if you're the Bucks, because it's the Clippers came out, the Bucks came out, and it's sort of immediately felt like playoff intensity, and the Bucks just they handled their business. They knew what they were doing. And like you were saying, they won it on the defensive end instead. They've sort of usually, last year, they probably would have tried to win it on the offensive end. But I think this year they're more defensive focused after their defeat last season. So I think their focus on the defensive end is what really got them this win last night.
Yeah, it was incredible. And I think one person in particular, and we got to talk about Brook Lopez. Zach Lowe deemed Brook Lopez a force field in the paint.
Amazing.
That is wonderful. That is a wonderful description, Zach Lowe. Brook with another rough offensive night. This was something where this game might have been a blowout early if he was hitting shots. Brook heads up 2 for 12, 0 for 5 from 3 with 6 points, but still, he was still, I would say, a positive contributor just for the amount of defense he played. I think the Bucks, if he just cannot shoot threes anymore, which I think he can, I still think he's just cold, but the Bucks might want to look at doing some more, maybe pick and roll or something with him offensively. I don't know. I'm a little worried about the offense with Brook Lopez right now.
There was the stretch where it was a little early in the second quarter where the Clippers started to go a little smaller, and the Bucks just immediately just took advantage and started posting up Brook Lopez. So it's if you can get more of that role out of him, then it's going to still work out, and he's still going to be the defensive force that he is, even if he's not hitting his threes. But even if he's not hitting his threes, he has the reputation at this point that his gravity still matters.
That's true. That's a very good point as well. But still, at some point, you just hope he starts making them.
Yeah,
because
yes, of course.
Well, it was 3 possessions, I think, in a few minutes where Brook gets a wide open 3 and just flubbed all of them. And at that point, The Clippers, this is the first quarter. The Clippers were up by like 6 or something like that. They didn't have a very big lead. They never led by a lot. And, well, yeah, I can kind of look it up. It doesn't matter. Clippers took a small lead, and it was one of those where I was just kind of, there was a little unrest, like, like the Bucks are so tight. And I was just thinking, like, I mean, I guess, but we've seen these games. We've seen these games where the other team hits threes and the Bucks don't, and then it evens out, and then we know what happens. And that happened, even though Brook didn't start hitting threes himself. And really, the bench energy was huge. But before I get there, the person I was going to say was a revelation was not Brook Lopez. I wouldn't call him a revelation in this game. He just continued to be a force field, and I needed to call out how good the force field moniker